Boluwatife Arewa. And we're about to start. We have our speakers ready. And of course, we have a topic also, robust conversation we're going to have this time. And please give us a moment while we have other participants join. In the next 1 minute we'll start. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome to the CE Entrepreneurship in Africa webinar series. And I'm glad to welcome you all. It's been a great day for me, and I hope it has been for you as well. My name is Boluwatife Arewa. I introduced myself earlier, and I'd like to do that again for those who are just joining. For those who do not know, and are probably joining us for the first time, this is the third session of the series. And then, of course, we held the first session at the World Circular Economy Forum last year, December. And the general goal of this webinar series is to examine our roles as community of incubators, investors, researchers, entrepreneurs, how and what we can do better for the progress of circular economy. I believe everyone can hear me. And just a little bit of ground rule, if you're coming into the meeting, please mute your mic so that we can have a wonderful time together. To continue, like I said, the goal of this webinar series is to examine our roles as community of incubators, investors, researchers, entrepreneurs, to check how we can do better for the progress of circular economy, especially in Africa. This series is in partnership with African Circular Economy Network, Footprints Africa, and then of course, Netherlands Consulate in Nigeria. Just to get straight to the topic which we have before us today, we are looking at winner takes all. Does it make sense to give prizes in entrepreneurship programs? Basically, this our topic is actually from observation. So there's this VoxDev research which stated that, which discovered that about $1 billion is churned out annually for entrepreneurship training, and then of course there are a lot of mixed results. So basically, in classic funnel models, potential entrepreneurs are expected to go through seemingly tough selection processes, after which various rewards are given. So the question is how effective. The question is how effective is the model, this particular model this particular funnel model. So we are going to examine the effectiveness, and of course, we have been joined by two speakers who represent the experience in innovation and accelerator programming participation, and then of course on the other hand of research and design of the programming. So I'll be introducing the speakers now, and of course I believe that they are going to do justice, and then they're going to make this particular conversation very, very robust. To introduce our speaker, the first speaker that we have is Boluwatife Arewa, is the managing partner of Scrapays technology. And then of course, Boluwatife Arewa, just to read a little bit of his profile, he's a graduate of Alibaba Business School and Founders Institute. Is an operations and strategy development personnel with certification in operations management from Vanderbilt University, Nashville. He works closely with tech-enabled and social-inclined startup sectors. So he's currently the managing partner at Scrapays, and which is a company that facilitates the recovery of recyclable materials by providing a software-based recovery network consisting of all four categories in the value chain who are independent businesses and producers. So you understand that for Bolu is going to be speaking from the side of the entrepreneurs, you know, the different experience he has had, the pain, the gain. Yes. So, and then of course we have our second speaker, Sarah Ogbewey. Sarah Ogbewey is a circular economy ecosystem builder, and of course she's also the former Looplab project manager. So Sarah Ogbewey is a circular ecosystem builder, and then of course our 15-year multifaceted work experience spans sustainable development sectors in health, education, environment, and security, covering SDGs 4, 5, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. Yes, so also she runs trainings on our social media pages, teaching young entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and social development workers around Africa strategies to succeed, and then of course access grants. Having won, of course, 5 grants for our own organizations, which different organizations she has founded, and of course different projects she has worked on. So I believe both speakers are able to do justice to the topic which we have before us. Again, like we all know, of course, I believe you're aware that the topic is winner takes all. Does it make sense to give prizes in entrepreneurship program? I have Boluwatife who is ready to share with us experience. Boluwatife, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Confirm you can hear me too.
Thank you so much for joining us. We want to hear from you, how your experience have been participating in the entrepreneurship program, accelerator programs, innovation programs, and all that.
Okay, thank you so much, Mobalo. I just want to confirm again, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, amazing. So greetings everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. So I'm going to start from a very core place, which I think is important to give perspective to, is the fact that when applying for any of these programs, you must understand the stage that you are in and what is a particular support or need is required, right? And I'm going to use maybe some part of my own journey as an example of it, take it up forward, right? At the very early stage, maybe you are at the very early idea stage. Maybe you are just putting model together, putting the concept and all together. I think the very type of program.
Bolu, I can't seem to hear you from here. Can you hear me?
What you are still trying to model. And I could remember one of the very first programs I did.
Hello, Bolu, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you also hear me?
It's fading. I can't seem to hear you clearly.
Oh my. How about now? Is it any way better?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay, please just let me know. Interject when maybe my voice is going down. Please
I'll do that.
Okay, thank you, Robert. All right. So just to say with what I was saying earlier on, that I said the very first stage at the extreme early stage of your business, while you are maybe it's a basic idea or you're trying to do things together. The first thing that you need to attend to is to look at it incubation programs. These are programs primarily that helps you put your ideas together, allows you to understand the moving parts of it, together documentation things like the very first deck, deciding what will be your end, maybe even deck that time, right? So those are incubation program like what example, because I want to use my own real life example to and I think one of the core programs that I would like to recommend is F5, right? Founders Institute. It's got value in this program, but they have operations within a couple of African countries.
Sorry, Bolu, it's not so clear again. Actually.
Okay, let me do this. Let me disconnect my phone and use it with normal phone.
Okay. I think that would be better. Let's try that.
Yeah, let's try that. So sorry. Let's try that. All right, please confirm if please can you confirm if it's a little bit better now?
Yes, it is way better. Thank you.
Okay, okay. If it's better, then that's good. So I'll just continue. I'll try to continue from where I stopped. I was speaking to the fact that I want to build this up like you're building an house, right? You need to start from the foundation, and that's why I was speaking to the very first phase at the very earliest stage of your concept. You are trying to put an idea together to even look at, is there a market for this thing? What's the validation and all of that for this type of program that you are to apply for? What programs that are referred to as incubation program. Their purpose is to incubate what you have. Yeah, it's not fully pumped. It's still, it's still shaky. It still has several, unconfirmed assumptions and all of that, right? So, and I was given an example of my own journey, and I think one of the core programs you could, look into are programs like there are thousands of them, right? So, or hundreds of them. Let me exaggerate, right? There are hundreds of them, right? Thank God that the startup and the business or technology ecosystem within the African or Nigerian ecosystem is really growing, and it's amazing. So an example of the one I personally went through is Founders Institute or Orange Corners program by Faith Foundation, right? Okay, I could try disconnecting. Yes, I got a message. Okay, so I've disconnected my ports. Please, let's confirm if you can all hear me. So I'm sure. I've disconnected the port.
So it seems you're far from the phone.
Okay, is it anyway better now?
Yes, I think it's better now.
Okay, so sorry, please. I'll take it up from where I stopped. So let me conclude on the incubation part. So basically, these are programs that you join, and you must understand your purpose for joining in. You must understand what level your idea, your business, or the concept you have, is at. And the purpose of this program is to help you build and solidify your assumptions. Prepare documentations, things like your business model, your deck, your core your executive summary, and a couple of things that you really help you give foundation and solidify your concept, right? That's the very first thing. And I give an example of Founders Institute. You have Orange Corners program by Faith Foundation. You have so many of these programs that are run. You have some of them run by ventures platform, a couple of very wide range of acceleration incubation programs are currently running that will help build your idea at that point. And I must tell you that at that point in time, primarily such incubation programs are not designed, quote unquote, to provide funding. You must understand what you are looking for at that point in time. What you're looking for at that point in time is to solidify your idea and build things up. The next phase, I like to speak to as if you are building up, acceleration program. From that word is to accelerate what already exists, right? you've been incubated or you've passed the stage of incubation. At this stage, you have some things that are very much sacrosanct. You have structure, you've confirmed a couple of assumptions, and that business, at this point is expected to have some sort of MVP, right? Minimum viable product, right? And at that point, from the name, you want to accelerate what currently exists, right? The goal of acceleration program from that word is to help you, maybe acquire, more customers apart from maybe your test customer that you're expected to have during your incubation program. Some, depending on the focus of, acceleration program, some of them come, with funding, because really at that stage in point, I used to say that I'm a proponent that acceleration program should come with some sort of funding, be it something that helps you to fine tune your MVP, or or do a couple of things somewhat better, right? So at this point in time, what you're going to do is to have 1 or 2 persons join your team, analyze or fine tune your MVP based on feedback and the like. So acceleration program is to help you grow out, and this is my own opinion, right? I believe, and from a couple of acceleration programs I've also done, some of them, come with funding, not all. You must, understand that, right? And building up, because I have limited time, I'm going to join the last 2 together from what I'll be saying here. These 2 are what I refer to as scale-up programs, right? So scale-up programs are programs that help you. You've already confirmed the assumption. You've been accelerated. You have a couple of maybe hundreds of thousands users that are using your product, day in and day out. But now you want to scale beyond, either vertically, right? When I say vertically, is maybe you want to go into other markets beyond maybe Nigeria, into Ghana, or even into outside of the sub-Saharan market, or you want to scale horizontally, which means, okay, you are just in Lagos, you want to be in other state, or you have a particular one singular product line or one singular product vertical, you want to expand into other verticals depending on your business or your business model, right? So scale-ups are structured to help you, expand on what at that point in time your business model is validated, right? You are sure the assumptions, and a couple of things are being built up. So example of scale up, for example, which I've been part of, is Google Black Father Funds. Google Black Father Funds are not talking to you on the basis of maybe what's your assumptions around. What I'm looking at is what are your numbers, what are your growth assumptions, what are the things that you need to expand into this market? What are the limitations? What are the partnerships and likes that you need? So at scale up, you are trying to, from the name, you're trying to expand and grow a model, a system that already works, that you've tested. It's at this point in time, you've moved beyond MVP. You have a product that is the market. Yes, it involves fine-tuning based on, user response and the like. So I've taken us on the journey, from just idea stage, which is literally around incubation, down to scale up, whereby you want to, scale what you do, either, as I said, either vertically or horizontally, depending on the type of business you run, your business, your model, or the current market that you are in, right? So that's a journey. Oba, I would like to stop from here because I don't want to talk on the other phase of this is to look at the program's themes, or the program focus. But I'll pause at this point.
Thank you so much, Bolu. One of the things I just I can summarize, the way I can summarize the discussion, what you've presented is actually that every entrepreneur must understand the purpose, and then of course the purpose of joining a particular program, and then of course to understand also the level which their idea is in at the moment, at that particular moment. Yeah, thank you so much. And this is where we bring in Sarah to also join the conversation. Sarah, are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Oba. Thank you, Boluwatife. You brought very great perspectives. Even though we couldn't hear you very clearly, it'd be good to really engage on the call and hear more from you. So I'll be speaking from the point of incubation programs, having supported in managing the Looplab and having participated in the Orange Corners program some years back. So just for sake of data or statistics, it shows that 90% of startups fail within 5 years. And the government of Nigeria has presently planned to invest about 745 million naira to startups. Now think about it. It means that 90% of that fund, plus or minus, will be lost, right? It will be lost. And so the challenge we have found in incubation programming is that how do you choose a company to bet on with money, both in Naira and in other currencies? How are you able to identify a business that is viable? Because there's so many factors, pro and con. And you now find over time that you have innovators and entrepreneurs that pass through a program, they win some money, they move to another program, win more money. For the next 5 years, 10 years, they keep winning money from grants from different funders. And the question now is, when is it ever enough? When is it going to ever be enough? And the title of our program here says, is it okay? Does it make sense to give prizes? And I think, Oba, correct me if I'm wrong, you mean cash prizes for entrepreneurship programs, right?
Yeah, rewards, cash prizes. Yes, you're right.
Okay. So I believe that we can engage on this level. For my experience, I think it is 100% okay to give cash prizes to entrepreneurs, because these funds are needed to set up business structure, to do research, to do your research and development, to hire, if possible, maybe 1 or 2 personnel to start up. They're quite important, but I think the problem now lies with what happens to this money. How is it managed? You find that you find out that over time, when reports are written back to the incubation hub, how do you prove that these reports are correct? How do you now write back to your funders, I mean, as the incubators, to say, or the investors, to say this money was positively spent or well spent, or it had this impact or the other impact? So I think, again, many times we struggle with choosing. We struggle with how do we request for funding from investors, from international governments, to say we want to put money into agriculture or want to put money into the environment. How do we respond and say that this money was well used? I would actually like to engage Boluwatife at this point. I really hope his audio would allow us to have this conversation. It's really important that we do.
Yeah.
So
let me confirm it's better now.
Sorry?
Is it better now? Is it better now?
It's a little better.
Okay, so sorry. Maybe I should change my location if it's still bad. Or is it? Can you hear me? Let me be sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I can hear you.
Okay, amazing, amazing.
So my question is basically just to engage you with, when is it ever enough? Because it seems that incubation programs keep sourcing for funding to invest, At what point do we say this business can stand on your own, and you now reduce the dependence on grants or on external funding, or you also reduce the dependence on long-term equity, which is not bad in its own, but when the aim of investment is for the entrepreneur to balance out and be able to stand on his or her own.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. And I think the Nigerian, funding ecosystem is somewhat growing now. I think for some program I've participated in, there are structures, to validate what you really say you're doing, right? And they will also ask you or do their own background research. And I'm speaking from both the entrepreneurial, what I've experienced, right, aspect of this. If you are a startup that you've gotten X amount of funding before now, what are the results? What are the achievements what are the numbers? What are the traction that has led you to? Truth be told, especially it's a startup that you want to blitz scale, you are definitely going to need funding over a very long period, of time. But the question is, have you passed the stage of quote unquote free or equity free money, better put, right? Is your business structured, to be profitable over X period of time? And at this point in time, we are not just giving you quote unquote grant or free money, but are giving you money that is based on your achievement, your goal, right? This I'm speaking directly to profit-oriented businesses, right? If it should be NGOs or purely social businesses, there are specific KPIs and numbers, and to ensure that these numbers are not also fabricated. I could remember a particular program that we literally finished. This person they spoke to close to a very good, maybe 30 or 50% of our user base, from our agents to our, processors and all of that, to ensure that, okay, this is really happening. This is during, in fact, this is an equity-based funding, right? This is to ensure that during a due diligence process, right? If you are to give out funds, it's expected that, there will be a due diligence process. Like, don't just give somebody who basically is making up numbers and papers and the like. So I think one of the core places is, number one, get the antecedents of, the person who is maybe looking, who is the focus of the fund, and also ensure that they are rigorous and core DD program. Because, for example, if it's not with free money, every of the equity-based funding that we've gotten, proper, deep, and thorough DD are done, right? So this also needs to be infused into maybe grant funding or prize funding to ensure that there is a very, high-level overview and balance in what is happening, so that people who just fabricate numbers and all of that, don't get into this. Because really, at the long run, I say that funding is extremely important to scale, to move from 0 to 1, from 1 to 100, from 10 to 1,000. Their level of funding is required, to achieve this. I hope you get the scope of what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
No, I think it's impressive. Sarah, I think I actually want to direct a question to you as well, because I hear you about the question of when is it ever enough, in terms of funding, entrepreneurs not, and of course, Bolu had already mentioned earlier about the fact that entrepreneurs should understand the purpose of different programs they join, and then of course understand their own business so that they'll be able to know what particular program they should be joining. So Bolu earlier, I don't know if everybody heard him clearly at that point, but let me just restate some of the things that Bolu says. Bolu had talked about the accelerator program, the incubation program, and then of course the scale-up program. So, and then of course, to understand all that for an entrepreneur is to actually be able to know when to join a particular program or not. So now to Sarah, to ask you the question I wanted to ask you is that in terms of the design of the program, because I know that you have the experience in design of this programming, what runs in your own mind, like in terms of objective of delivery to entrepreneurs when you are designing the program? Whether it's incubation or an acceleration program or it's a scale-up program?
So to be honest, well, let me not start from there. Let me start this way. So one of the first things that runs in our mind for first incubation program is skills, providing the right skills, financial accuracy, financial acumen, accounting skills, networks and partnerships, and then maybe thirdly, finance, right? I say maybe because depending on if they're able to pass through these first two, if they're able to show acumen in terms of being able to manage their, create their business model, work with us to create business model, if they're able to sit well with the right partners, because sometimes you make available a network to an entrepreneur and they don't optimize that network because in their minds, oh, just give me the money, right? So if you're able to now do the second one, be able to communicate well, being able to access information, being able to relate well. The other challenge we also find, let me add this, is so sometimes we go over and above to try and create these networking scenarios for entrepreneurs. And just the simple ways of communication, we find that some entrepreneurs may not have it. It can be learned, business can be learned. However, if the aim is just let's get to the end and receive the money, we find out that they miss the process, right? They miss the learning process of how being able to relate with other businesses. Because as a business person, you must understand business relationships and human relationships. So we always try to emphasize on those points. But then again, and I think we should speak about it maybe as the elephant in the room, we find, and in all honesty, and I will maybe say it again, we find that they just want to get to the end of it, right? So I'll give an example. I mean, at the end of it will be the money. How much are you going to give us? Which, like I said before, and I'm going to say again, is very important. Money will run your business. However, you need to be able to manage it. And in managing your money, you must be able to manage your books and your people, both your internal stakeholders and your external stakeholders, meaning those who will come into your business. So the example I'll quickly give you. So we had one time, and there was an entrepreneur who scaled through a hackathon. However, he found out that, and I don't think he found out, I think he always knew that this wasn't a suited program for him. But he won anyway, which was a good thing. And on the program, he really found it hard to work on the solution that he wanted, right? He really found it hard to. It was as if we would do everything to get him to meet up with tasks. Have you checked up on your frameworks? Have you done your customer journey mapping? Different things. And it was always a struggle for him to meet up with the task. And I think one time we had a hard task, and he said he doesn't think this program is for him. But he was here anyway because in his mind, oh, okay, there will be some money. Now, there's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I felt if he had known, maybe he shouldn't have bothered applying, or apply, win, and then take the learning, saying, okay, I'm here to learn other things apart from me solving this particular problem. I'm interacting with people. I'm in a community. I have access to networks, So I'm just putting this out there because these are the three key things I think entrepreneurs should look out for. Look out for your acumen, increase your acumen in terms of business planning, business modeling, financial accounting. Make sure that that's important to you and you tick that box. Then secondly, being able to have a good, be a business person and a people person. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to follow up on networks you'll be given. Oh, hello, my name is this. I own this business. Please meet you at that conference. Can we keep in touch? Thank you. Even the way you talk to people is really, really important. All the little mannerisms make a potential investor look at you and be like, this guy is $1 million guy, I'm going to invest in him. And then tick the third box. So that's what I want to share for the question you asked.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I would like to also ask Bolu this particular question. I hear you, Sarah, about the different things that an entrepreneur must arm themselves with. And then, of course, I think I also agree with you totally. Bolu, you have participated in entrepreneurship programs, accelerator programs, incubation programs. And then, of course, just to let everyone on this call know, we put out a poll just to get to hear what entrepreneurs have to say about this particular topic, whether the different challenges they get to face day to day in these different, getting into these different programs. And of course, I'll share with you shortly before the end of this call, then so that we can all see what different people said about it. And then, of course, if you have any comments, you have any question, you can drop it in the chat just to say that. So, Bolu, you have participated in different programs. What would be for you the most challenging aspect in terms of design of the program? Maybe what you feel that, oh, maybe this could have worked better in terms of how the program was put out. Like, what do you think is the most challenging thing for you as an entrepreneur in engaging these different programs?
Okay, thank you for that question, Oba. And I would like to approach it from this angle, that I think the very first thing for me is a one-size-fits-all, approach in terms of maybe the curriculum or the structure. And I'll give contextual example of what I'm trying to say. For example, if you are dealing with maybe just startup or solution, right? The type of things around maybe their recurring revenue and all of that, the type of program set of learning, the type of the experience and that you bring to them is different from maybe a software assisted platform, like maybe a clean tech solution or maybe a distributed network solution. For example, we do a Scrapays and the decentralized approach to what we do, right? The business model is extremely different, right? The approach is extremely different. In fact, I've seen a situation whereby maybe in terms of reporting, they're asking a solution like myself to be reporting on things that are in no way relevant to our KPIs, right? Because they were basically, I would say, umbrella, question or umbrella approach, right? And I think that's why sometimes I appreciate, maybe sector focused program, right? In the sense that it helps you, that the type of people, the type of, engagement that is, passed towards you is, it fits directly into what you're doing, right? If you are a full SaaS solution, what's your focus, the growth strategy, your approach and mechanism for for customer acquisition is different from a software or a tech enabled system, right? Or maybe even when you're talking to maybe a fashion tech person, the approach there, is totally different. For me, that's one of the key things I think needs to be properly fine-tuned to ensure that entrepreneurs get the best of every of this type of programs. It's really, really important. And also what I've always seen is we I think it's important also, and I think maybe if I try to do this is what I've seen is when even for programs when you tend to say, okay, you have paired this particular startup or founder to a particular mentor to help them, on their journey or specifically a part of what they're doing. What I've seen is because this some of this startup maybe for the sake of not pushing it, but I think it's very important. Let's advisors or mentors or support know that okay, there is a stake for them in this, right? I don't want to speak into details because what I'm saying is you are paired with mentors, but obviously maybe really there's nothing for them, quote unquote, to lose. Is pure pro bono, right? The type of attention, it's basically surface work that literally maybe even without the mentor, that person could have achieved. But the essence of the mentor is to dig deeper, ensure that we can. We're not saying a total hand holding, but we're speaking to the fact that something that is really tangible and deep enough to ensure that this person can move from a particular sport and help them try or skill. What we're saying is because it's a total pro bono, system, the person who doesn't have that time, if you or even for you to squeeze out stuff, you must be extremely and I'm not saying that you're in a position to definitely they won't come bring things to your table, but this like you are pushing as hard as possible, and at the long run, it's not coming out. From my experience, which I advise that if a mentor or advisor is being paid, let them know that okay, there is a stake, even if it is 0.01 in that business. So for them, okay, if this thing grows, it's not a popular opinion, but I think it's important for people to so that okay, am I ready to give time and things like structured, this is a minimum what we require and a system of reporting and all. It's important so that you're not wasting the entrepreneurial time and you're also not wasting the mental time because literally both of them are extremely busy and for when they come together, the best of results should be better. I think I will stop there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bolu. Thank you so much. Because of our time, we'll just go to the result of our polls, and then, of course, we'll be able to now discuss on this. We have some interesting discoveries from the poll. So the first one was basically to ask whether the poll participants have participated in an incubator or an accelerator program, and they offer prizes. And then, of course, we had 7% or say yes, and that's the introduction. Then the next one, which is the second question, I would like us to have just a 1 minute response from Bolu. Now, this particular so let's start with Sarah actually. This particular question says, if yes, do you feel the outcome of prize programs are fair or unfair? So we have, interestingly, 82.6% say it's fair. So, and then of course, we have to still look at the people who said it's unfair. So, Sarah, every voice matters, yes? Yes?
Yes, every voice matters. And I wonder why you threw it to me instead of Bolu. Well, so first of all, I didn't take this poll, but I'm glad that 82%, almost 83, think that it is fair, the outcomes are fair. And I think it also should have a feel-good effect for incubation programming, that something right is being done. that we're ticking the right boxes and meeting a need. You know, it's really very dicey when you're trying to meet various human needs. You have a program with 20 entrepreneurs and you're trying to balance, okay, you need attention on maybe your financials, you need attention on understanding research, understanding your market and research, you need business planning, documentation, you know. It's really a very dicey balancing act. You know, the inclusion program must have the right manpower, the right funding on its own to be able to carry out the program. So for me, I think it's great that it's fair, and for the figure of 17% who thinks it's unfair, it's also very valid. That way you learn how to do better programs. That's my take.
Okay, thank you so much. Bolu, are you there? Hello, Bolu, are you there? I think you're mute. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. So we have 82.6% say it's fair. So do you also agree with them?
Yes, I do, because I think, at least with my experience, it's not just a one-person decision. Yeah, I could see the 17.4% I said is unfair. It's normal, right? I think, but I think it's 2.6 is representative of, you know, what is obtainable. It can be dicey sometimes, because maybe some person I believe that, okay, they didn't understand fully my business model or something like that. But really, if you are deeply beyond the prices, you must be able to have worked on your pitch and your solution that literally anybody can connect to. Because when it gets to you pitching to equity-based funding, you don't have too much time with a VC or something. Once your first deck or just even one pager should be able to communicate the essence or give a teaser, you know, that would make them ask more for your, you know, your idea or your concept. So if you are pitching to maybe a panel of 3, 4, 5, 6% as an average result, I think in some way the luck is already spread, right? To say, okay, it's not just one person bias. You can then, you are looking at 3, 4 persons. So in a way, I think the result also, you know, speak to the fact. Yeah, I'm not involved in every of the program, but I think that's what I've said. Not just one person makes a decision, about 3, 4% on average, and you know that makes the decision. Yes, we understand that maybe because the entrepreneur has not fine-tuned maybe their concept or their idea, they are not able to effectively communicate, you know, that idea. You know, I have a mentor that always say that you must be able to explain what you're doing to a baby or a 5-year-old and the person understands. So I think that's because really some of these ideas, we've seen some ideas that, you know, they don't win a particular, you know, program and they went out to do great and amazing. Well, you lose or you didn't get, you are not part of the finalists in this particular program, but based on your learning and your takings from, you know, your mistake or things that need to be refined, you go to the next one and you know, you come out top. So I think that's right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bolu. So we have the next poll. The poll question is, what do you believe is the best outcome of an entrepreneurship program? And I believe you've spoken to that earlier, Bolu, about understanding what you're looking for. Sarah also mentioned it briefly, understanding what you're looking for. And then, of course, in terms of design, Sarah had mentioned that some of the things that they look out, they try to get across is knowledge in terms of business model knowledge, accounting and all that. So, and then of course, networks as well. So for this particular poll, we see here that knowledge takes the back seat. What do you think is the issue, Bolu? Why do people think knowledge is, a fund is more important than knowledge and network?
Okay, so to be frank with you, and I won't do any form of covering, right? If you're past the stage of incubation and maybe early acceleration, right? I think more of that's why I said I want to answer this very straight. More of what you need, definitely we can't stop learning. You can, we must keep on developing, right? Across, you want to learn, okay, how your market is, all of that, right? Definitely you keep on learning. But at some point in time, especially beyond at a late acceleration stage into, you know, scale up or, you know, or programs, right? I think you definitely need networks, which I would rather call That was this service partnerships and fund. Funding is extremely important. I've seen limitations that funding could cause. So I could, in a way, from the entrepreneurial face of some things, I could see why a couple of persons will tell you knowledge. But the other side of it also is some of the person that said you don't need knowledge are really still has a whole lot to learn, and everybody still has a whole lot to learn. But as in context, what we are saying, might be somebody who does not even understand how to categorize their growth strategy, or even have a very simple and concise deck, or how to structure their financial model, or any of those things. We must be clear when we are speaking to this. So it's not a one good answer, but I could understand if it's this set of person answering this question, the state in which their business is, right? So sometimes, because for example, when we say network, also your network also feeds into knowledge. So for example, you might be networking with what's it called, mentors. You might be networking with possible partners and likes that give you insight and understanding. So knowledge is not really a standalone, right? And I love some of the programs I've participated in. You ensure that it's a fusion of the two, right? You have founders to founders commingle, learn from each other, bring in expertise on maybe using B2B system growth or things like that. So I think it's not just a one answer fit all, it's a fusion across board. But I could understand the bias of these people that says, okay, please talk to me. I need money, I need funds, really. I don't know, maybe I was able to answer this question, but I'm just
yes.
How I say it. Yeah.
Again.
You said what? Oh, but I didn't get what you're saying.
Again.
Oh, it seems you're breaking. I don't know, maybe it's from my end or your end, but you're breaking very badly. Oh my. Hello, can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I think Oba most likely is having a network glitch.
No, it's fine. Okay, so I can just speak so that we can have a wholesome conversation. So what I would like to say with regards to the fact that knowledge is at the bottom and funds at the top. Again, funds is very important. Funds is very, very important, right? However, it's one of so many factors. It's one of so many factors. And it's important that entrepreneurs, and in fact, it's actually the responsibility of the incubation programmers and programming, which is our job, to itemize the benefits, one, and then the need to have to meet certain criteria before you can come on the program or access these funds. Of course, a couple of times you may not be able to see 100%. The aim of an incubation program is to ensure that entrepreneurs that pass through become successful. However, I had said in the beginning that there's an average of a 90% failure rate for startups within 5 years, right? Within 5 years. And there's something called, we believe, called a false start, right? A false start. So when you're having a race and you say, on your marks, get set, and before say go. So sometimes some ideas are not well conceived. Sometimes could be the environment, financial climate of that space, maybe really hard to do business. Sometimes it could be, oh, I just have to be the one to get to the finish line, even though I know I don't intend to do this business at all, right? So there's so many factors. But however, okay, the slide is down, but what it showed us were 3 variables, and the funds was on top, the networks, the knowledge. But I just wanted to outline that entrepreneurs should be mindful that apart from your money running out, also being in the wrong market, not choosing the right market. Second, or thirdly, not doing the right type of research. Market can look very interesting, everybody's doing it, or nobody's doing it, I want to be the first. Sometimes lack of research, sometimes bad partnerships, not having the right partners to work with, sometimes not marketing properly, and other times not having enough information or not being an expert. Now, you may have all of these and business can still fail. There's always an X factor in every business. And I believe also that the aim of an incubation program is to support you in every way possible to ensure that you win, even though there's a chance that you may not win, or you may not, when I mean win, I mean succeed. past the 5-year mark, if possible. However, incubators and accelerators take a chance on you to push you to the finish line. Oba is back on the call.
Apologies. I had a little bit of a network challenge, so I am sincerely sorry about that. Yes, we're on the third question, speaking about what is more important, which is not which of it, knowledge, network, or funding. And of course, we saw that more people went for funding, and then of course, even some more went for network, while the least was knowledge. I don't know what Sarah's response was, but I believe that you must have responded. And then, of course, the last question, I would have loved to project that as well, but my laptop is acting up. But I'll just try and read what this last poll is about, and then of course just get a sense of so that you can get a sense and respond. So now the last question is, what is the single hardest work you face as an entrepreneur? And the highest there was raising money. We had about different options: recruiting talents, building the business model, finding technical partners, finding good clients, raising money, standardizing of your operation system, your operating system and processes. And then, of course, the highest challenge that entrepreneurs, according to this poll, face is raising money, followed by building the business model. So what do you have to say to that? Because I know that for Sarah, I think I would like Sarah to respond to that, especially when the fact that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with building their business model. What do you think can solve that?
Hi, Oba. Okay, thank you for your question. So the question you asked me is, or rather the poll is, the question was, or is, what is the single hardest work to be an entrepreneur?
Yes.
Maybe, well, that's a police discuss the question close to entrepreneurs in this space. Well, I think, again, and I wish you could project this, again, the hardest work was raising money, right? And this hardest work is finding good clients. So for me, I feel there's no one answer to this question. Entrepreneurs vary. Entrepreneurs have different challenges because businesses are peculiar. Going to markets, you face variable challenges that is not common to one of them. But however, if the poll says that raising money is the hardest work, and that's because nobody will pass with money if they can't see viability. Even as individuals, and have something to buy, you ask yourself, would I use this? What the value in naira and kobo, dollars, and I'm placing money to exchange? Well, maybe I would say at this point, it is the hardest, great. Yes, it have a potential to be the hardest. However, I think it shouldn't be a discouraging factor for entrepreneurs to apply.
Sarah, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you went off for a bit.
Oh, okay, it's better now.
Yes, it's better now.
Strange.
Yes, so, are you done? Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I was saying accessing funds or the lack of it shouldn't be a discouragement to entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Keep pushing and keep writing and keep doing your work. I think I should say something quickly at this point. Or maybe I should say to the final word. Over to you.
Okay. Bolu, what's your own take on this?
Okay, so when you were reading the result, I was basically laughing and smiling, right? Yes, within the African ecosystem, raising funds is extremely hard. But I think there are some things that are proceeding to raising funds that, sometimes we we omit, right? Because for any, I'll speak to institutional funding now, right? That you want to raise. There are some specifics that require of you. What are the number of partnerships, the number of users, what's the state of your product, and all of that. So I used to tell people it's a catch 22, situation, right? For you to raise money, you need some level of traction or some of these things that we are prioritizing money on. So we are talking to, even if it's a syndicate or a solo angel or a venture, even early stage venture capitalist, fund or venture capital funds, right? There are some specifics they want to see before they are convinced to invest in you, especially within the African market. Let's speak to our own context. You might be in Europe or in US and you just pitch deck, you see, a venture capital that, sorry, Oba, can you guys hear me?
Recording in progress.
Hello, Oba, please, I want to be sure that I'm still very much audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I'm trying to really give a contextual, discussion as far as this is concerned. So it's really a catch-22 situation because when we say, yeah, funding is extremely important, no doubt, but the things like, having, solid hands, maybe engineers to help you to work on your product, or, looking at talent to help you maybe with your growth and the like. If those things are not available, the numbers, the result that they need to generate, you might not be able to raise that funding, even if it's not, a venture fund, even if it's some of high-level acceleration program, like you might not be able to get there. Things are extremely competitive. So it's a catch-22 issue, and sometimes for you also to do those things, for you to hire those talents, for you also to get those numbers, for you to run marketing campaigns and all of that. Sometimes, most time, not always, we also need funds, right? So it's really, we must be able to strike a balance in between them, right? That's why, we have funds that are, let's say family and friends and full funds, and stuff that allows you to at least prove yourself that with little, I've been able to do this, I've been able to achieve this. Then from here on, right? I then need more funding based on the number I've been able to achieve. These are my projections, based on my financial model, these are my assumptions and the like. So I think it's a catch-22 issue, as I said earlier on. It's in between, but we must not be deluded by one-sided blindness that it's all about funding, right? I know this, right? That funding can, somewhat, limit your achievements or limit the things that you could have done. But you must also understand that even when you have this funding and some of these things are not totally structured or are not in place, you most likely might still, fail along that path. There are some background noise. I don't know where they're coming from, but I want to be sure that we have them. It seems you are far from your mic. There's a background noise coming from somewhere. I'm not sure.
Get it down. Get it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Yeah.
I think your mic is having there's a background ruffling noise.
Is it better now?
Not that really great.
I apologize for that. Let me just go off this. Just
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Yes. Thank you so much. I think
you are talking from somewhere.
I would have to take that passage right now. Can you hear me?
Yes, but you have an echo.
Yes, Sarah, are you there? Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I'm just
Yes.
Oba, I can't hear you.
Oba, I assume you have to people you're saying.
Hello, Sarah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I said that I would like you to give a very short closing remark.
Okay. Thank you very much, Oba. Well done on the programming. Well done on putting this together. I think we should keep having forums like this, to talk about circular economy. It's a growing space. It's a growing space that has been estimated to work an average of, let's say, 100 million worldwide US dollars, circular economy space. And entrepreneurs should constantly be encouraged. In fact, we want to put them on the front burner. What are you doing to be more sustainable, more circular? So I'll say a huge well done on this, and let's keep working to make it better. Funds or not, money will always come to you when you're doing good work. It may take time, it may not take time, but the important thing is not to have funds come to you once, but to have a constant flow. That's why it's called currency. To have a current flowing through your business where you constantly attract the right type of funding, the right partners, and the right team. Okay, so just to say thank you and all the best to all the entrepreneurs.
Yeah, Bolu, would you like to say something very short?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Oba. Thank you for the perspective, Sarah, also. And in simple terms, I will just go back to what I think I started with. As an entrepreneur, please understand clearly what your business needs. Be very, very, truthful about the state of your business. It is just an idea. Don't be very clear. Okay, this is if you add, be very solid about your assumptions, right? What you're not sure of, no, and then decide on, okay, what does my startup needs now? Do I need maybe an incubation program or a social program that is focused on, helping with investment readiness? Because you've seen people that say they want to raise funds and even you don't have a data room, you don't have, things, basic things, that shows that really you know what you are talking about. You're not just saying this at the top of your tongues, right? So you must be very clear. Do I need to join the program that helps me with investment readiness? Okay, I'm at a growth stage. Do I need to program that helps me focus on customer acquisition, B2B sales strategy, and so specifics about what you want and the stage that you are in helps you to avoid just going on merry-go-round around and going from one program to the other and wasting your time, right? So it's extremely important that we are very clear on the state and the stage of your business and what are the exact things that you need, right? Don't just if you are a program, you don't need, we are not a B2B startup, right? Or you're a direct B2C or B2B2C. Don't go for a program that they're offering is okay, they want to help you, connect to businesses or something like okay, I'm a B2C, startup, this is what I need and like so. Very clearly understand what you're doing and it will help you. What this program are to be multiply effect to what you are doing, not things that will waste your time. But you must understand the stage and the thesis of that program before you plug into that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bolu. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Sarah, and of course all that joined. We really appreciate you. The summary of everything that we've seen or heard today is basically that we need to understand purpose on the side of the designers of the programs, and then of course the recipients of the programs. We need to understand the purpose, and then of course we have to be very clear about what the goals of the programs would be. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. To know more about the webinar series, you can go log on to cbp.circularlagos.com, cbp.circularlagos.com, and as well, you can watch the previous sessions that we've had, and then of course you can register for the next sessions we'll be having. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a good evening from here.